What up, IDS Mob? Welcome to the Introvert Dating Success Show. I'm HarryWilmington. And let's talk today about, do you find yourself falling into dating patterns that aren't effective for your dating life? You know, I saw a message from a guy on a Reddit forum where he talks about the pattern that he consistently finds himself in when he's trying to date. And as I was looking through his list of things that he mentioned, I realized this is a similar list that a lot of guys, including yourself, are probably feeling when you're going through the dating process. And I think it's a thing whereby, because we're already focusing on the end game of this thing from the moment we start dating a woman, a lot of times our agenda and the pace at which we want that agenda to happen, and the woman's agenda and the pace that she needs it to happen, are oftentimes in conflict, to where a lot of times you may end up feeling as though women are playing games with you because after a month or two of dating, they have yet to define their relationship. And when you ask them to do that, they suddenly don't want to be with you anymore. And you think, oh my God, I've wasted all my time with this girl who didn't want to be serious. But was that really the case? Or was your timing so fast for her that it caused her to either be turned off from you or think to herself, well, he's already at a strong feelings position and I'm not, and I don't want to waste his time if he's already there and I'm not yet, so I'm out. And as a result, could you be losing women that actually would have liked you if you had just waited a little bit longer? We're going to discuss that today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read over what this guy said in his Reddit post, and then I'm going to go through each one of the points that he made about what his dating pattern is and where he's failing and why he needs to really relook at the way in which he's pacing this thing and relook at what he's defining as games that the woman's possibly playing, so that way he'll be in a better position to understand how dating works for women and how he can actually get into relationships with these women that probably actually do want him, but again, he's not quite going at the pace that's going to be comfortable for them. So let's go ahead and read this post. So he says, do you find yourself falling into dating patterns? Mine can be summarized as: 1, date for a month or two, earnestly try to get to know them, go out on fun dates, etc. Number 2, ask to define the relationship. Number 3, they want casual, I want serious. Number 4, I break it off, I take time to grieve. Number 5, they boomerang back 1 or 2 months later, I've moved on. Is there any way I can clearly say at the jump, yes, I like to have fun, don't play games, and I'm looking for the real deal without sounding clingy or strange? I mean, the boomerang part is fun as it usually results in awesome makeup sex, but there's no going back. I can see they're simply bored and want to be entertained. It honestly makes me feel crappy, and I want to avoid it from happening again. So we've gone through his dating pattern. So what I'm going to do is go back through and point out how it is that he's messing up his chance of getting with these women as he's going through this dating pattern that he consistently is going through over and over again. All right. So first off, his first dating part of the dating pattern, he dates for a month or two and he earnestly tries to get to know them, go out on fun dates, etc. That's all great. But we need to relook at, what is he doing during this first month or two that could possibly be causing the woman to not build her feelings as strongly as necessary. So in that month or two, how often is he texting her? How often is he trying to see her? Is he texting her every single day, or is he spacing it out? Is he trying to get her out on a date every single day of the week, 3 times a week, or is he keeping it to 1 or 2 days out the week? And when he's asking for these dates, are they during weekdays or weekends? These things matter. In addition to that, what are they talking about on these dates? Is he consistently bringing up the idea of having a future with her or being together with her in some serious capacity? If he is, those are conversations that the woman should be bringing up and not the guy. Because if you bring it up as a guy early on, it can seem like you're already at the finish line. Like you might just be throwing things out there thinking, well, I want to mention possibly us having kids one day and where we possibly live and all this other future serious stuff because I can already see us going down that path and I just want to make sure. But a woman needs to have time to feel you out and connect with you on an emotional level as well as on a physical level before she starts really having those serious thoughts. At the point where she starts feeling those things, she will start asking those kind of questions. So of the two of you, it's better to wait for her timing as it pertains to anything in future speak land. If you're the one that's bringing it up, then that might be why they're continuing to say things like, I want to keep it casual, and why they're not trying to push for a relationship, because it's already starting to feel like you're pushing it on them to have to be in one, and they're not there yet, okay? But really look at what is happening in that first month or two that could be causing her to not be accelerating at as much as you'd like her to be. And even with that, recognize and understand that as a guy, you probably already pegged this woman as your next girlfriend after the first or second date, okay? Our time frame tends to be a lot faster because we are assessing things a lot faster. And quite honestly, the things we need to assess aren't really as deep as what women have to assess. Like, women have to assess, do I trust this guy? Do I feel safe around him? Is he going to murder me? Is he going to treat me well when we're having sex together? All these other things. All you're worried about is, does she look hot? And will she bang me in the bed? And those things don't take long to assess, which is why you're able to do it a lot faster. But just like she's taking her time, you need to get into the practice of taking your time to assess these women. Because I can tell you, there are plenty of men out there who think after 1 or 2 dates that this woman's going to be the right woman and that she's got her head on tight. And then they get to month 3 and find out she does not have her head on tight. And she is actually not a good pick at all. So be mindful of that and set your own timer for 2 to 3 months. I tell you guys all the time, on average, it takes a woman 2 to 3 months to solidify her feelings for you. If you're talking future speak or doing things that indicate relationship seriousness within those first 1 or 2 months, you're probably going to lose her interest because she's not there yet. So give her time and give yourself time to do the vetting during the period that she's doing vetting as well, all right? So after that first pattern of his where he dates for a month or 2, which is not a long time at all, look at the grand scheme long-term plans for a relationship. If your plan is to be with this woman for 20, 30, 40 years, having to wait 3 or 4 months to get into an actual relationship is not a long period of time. It can feel that way, but it's really not a long time in the grand scheme of a relationship, okay? But anyway, his second thing is to ask to define the relationship. So he dates a girl for a month, maybe 2 months, and he's already feeling like they should be in a relationship, and now he's trying to ask her to define it. Why is he doing that? 2 reasons. 1, because she has yet to come to him and ask to define it. And number 2, because he fears on some level, subconsciously, that if he is not able to get a definite answer about what this thing is, then it could mean that he's going to lose her to another guy. Maybe she has interest seeking elsewhere, or she could be emotionally playing with his heart. And so in order to somehow make him feel better, he feels as though defining it will give him that clarity that lets him feel like this is now a secure relationship and that he has her heart, okay? But the problem is, if she is not there yet in terms of her feelings journey with you, and she's not completely finished vetting you in the way that she needs to during those first 2 to 3 months, then what happens is it looks to her like you're trying to rush this, which can make her suspicious. Like, why is he trying to rush this? Why is he trying to claim me as a girlfriend so soon? Like, what's that about? Is he trying to manipulate me? Is he trying to use me more so for sex? Like, I don't know what's going on, but women feel very uneasy about you trying to rush, which is why I tell you guys, you should not be the one going to the woman to ask for a definition of the relationship. I tell you guys all the time, if she's saying yes to your dates, showing up on time, giving you sex from time to time when you guys are supposed to be hooking up, and is generally treating you well and talking to you well and is excited to be around you, then you are good, all right? And so ride with that. If it takes her 3 or 4 months to come to you and ask you about a relationship, the point is she still showing up? Is she still saying yes to dates? Is she not flaking? If she's doing all the stuff that you'd want her to do in a relationship, but it's just there's no definition to it, that's totally fine. And it's a good thing for you because it works in your favor either way. If you are hooking up with her and connecting with her and she hasn't defined the relationship and you're still seeing other women, then if she gets mad at you about that, that lets you know, wait a minute, why is she mad about it? Because she wants a relationship. And if she doesn't get mad about it, or she doesn't know, or doesn't bring it to your attention, then you can still have the opportunity to date other women and find another woman that might work better than this one that's not saying anything yet. Either way, you don't lose, but you can lose if she's into month 1 of dating you and still trying to find out more about you. And you're already trying to ask her to be in a relationship when she's not done doing her due diligence yet. Okay. So what does that lead to? Well, that leads to the next part of his list, which is they say they want casual. I want serious. Now, did all these women in all these situations want to end up in a casual relationship with him? My guess is the answer is no. So what happened? Well, on part one, he says he dates them for a month or two. So I'm guessing like around a month and a half, he's asking for a relationship. On average, it takes a woman 2 to 3 months to solidify her feelings. I typically err on the side of really 2.5 to 3 months. So by month two, she still has another 2-3 weeks to go before she's finally solidifying her feelings, but she needs to see a few more things, have a few more experiences with you before she's able to do that. And this guy comes along and says, hey, so I know it's only been a month and a half or so, but I want to know what the relationship is right now. What are you feeling? And so now she's in a conundrum because she's not yet at the place where she's fully ready to be the girlfriend of this guy, but she still wants to kind of get to know him by way of not having a defined title, so she can, of her own accord, come up with the idea in her head that this should be a thing. And so what she says instead is, well, I still want to keep it casual. Now, what she's thinking is, I want to keep it casual for the moment, and then once we go out on a few more dates and I feel solidified in my feelings, then I'll come to him and ask him about a relationship. But for right now, since I'm not quite there, but I don't want to get rid of this guy, I'm going to say I'll keep it casual and hope he understands what I mean. The problem is, as guys, we are very literal. So when we hear, I want to keep it casual from a woman, what we take that as is, oh, she doesn't ever see me in a relationship. She only wants it to be casual with me, and that's not where I want it to go, so now I have to dump her. That's not what she means, and that's something we have to let women know, is that we are very literal. So if you say, I want to be casual, you need to follow that up with, I want to be casual right now while we're still getting to know each other, but inevitably, if this thing goes well, then we can have a conversation later. That's really the thing that she's trying to say, but she's not going to say all that, gentlemen. She's going to say, I want to keep it casual, because she assumes you know what she means in terms of, at this moment, right now, as we're getting to know each other, we should still be casual. All right. So that's why these women are saying they want to keep it casual, but he's taking it as, that means they never want something serious with me, and so I got to be out because I only want serious. That's where he's messing up. That's why these women are going away. And then the next thing happens, which is he breaks it off because he's butthurt that they're not ready for something serious. He feels as though they were just jerking his chain and they weren't really in it to be in a long term. And then he takes time to grieve the process. So he's grieving the fact that these women didn't say at the month mark that they want a relationship with him. And yet that's actually like consistent. Like across the board, for the women that I've dated, all of them that I've gotten to relationships with, it took them 2.5 to 3 months almost every single time before they came to me and asked me about a relationship. All right. So I just learned to wait it out. I learned if I don't say anything for 3 months, like clockwork, hey, so Harry, we've been hanging out and I want to talk, and just so, are you seeing anybody else? And like, what's this mean? And like, my girlfriends want to know, like, what are we? And yada, yada, yada. Women will come to you and ask you these questions because in their dating world, so many guys are constantly coming at them, but rarely do they have guys that they want to go back after, okay? And this is why I tell you guys, if she's chasing you, she can't be replacing you. So if she's saying yes to dates, she's going out with you consistently, if she's not flaking, she's showing you a good time in the bedroom, this is how women chase you and let you know that they want to be with you. And so, yeah, they're going to do that, which means that you don't need to worry about asking them when they want to be in a relationship. But they'll do that and give you those questions once they're ready. If you don't, you're going to break it off. You're going to be mad. You're going to be grieving. Oh my God, I wish miss her so much. Why couldn't we be serious? Because you didn't give them a chance to get to the serious level, okay? Their pacing's always going to be a little bit slower than ours, guys, and that's okay. Because again, in the grand long-term scheme of a relationship, waiting 3 to 4 months for a woman to come up to you with those questions is not a long time, all right? Oh, so then what happens? Last part of his dating pattern is they boomerang back after 1 or 2 months, but he's moved on. Now, why do these women boomerang back? Well, what did I tell you guys? 2 to 3 months to solidify their feelings. So what happens is, let's say a month and a half in, he asked them to be in a relationship, and they say, I want to keep it casual. And then he says, well, screw it. I don't want to do that. I'm going to dump you. Well, now they have an extra month to think about him, to wish that she was still around him, to miss the activities that they did together. And now when they come back, it's around what? It's around month 3 or 4 of what would have been if they had stayed together, Okay. So this still goes back to what I said. It takes 2 to 3 months. So because he's leaving them alone, now he's not pestering them for a relationship every day. Now he's not constantly texting them, constantly trying to get them on a date. And they have time to sit and breathe and think and talk to their girlfriends and reminisce and remember about the guy and how great he was. And this is what you should be doing during the actual dating process. You shouldn't be in their face every day. You shouldn't be texting them all the time, asking them on dates every single day. You should be doing these things sporadically and then giving them time in between your contact to breathe, to miss you, to think about you. And that's actually what's going to accelerate it to where women on month 2 will start asking you about a relationship. But most of you guys aren't able to wait that long. Most of you guys are trying to jump the gun and try to get the relationship after the first and second or third date or the first and second month. You got to let them come to you. Otherwise, you're going to find this happens where they're going to come back and you as the guy are going to be baffled like, why did she come back? I got rid of her. She said she didn't want something serious. And what happened was you short-circuited it by trying to ask her for serious too soon. But she would have inevitably wanted it if you had waited, all right? So that's how guys mess up their own dating patterns. And then this guy says he wants to know if he can clearly say at the beginning, yes, I like to have fun. I don't play games, and I'm looking for the real deal. And as guys, that makes logical sense to us because we think, well, in order for this girl to know what I want, I should just tell her. If I just tell her, then she'll know, and then she doesn't have to go through this vetting process. She'll already know what I'm about. Dude, do you know how many offers women get? Do you know how many dates women go on with guys who say this exact same crap, and then 2 to 3 months later, it turns out not to be the case, that they don't like to have fun, that they do play games, and that they're not looking for the real deal. So just because you say it doesn't mean that she's not going to still want to vet you, because her experience teaches her that more often than not, guys are lying to her, and she needs to take her time to make sure that the words you're saying are congruent with the actions that you're doing and showing her on these various dates. So regardless of what you're saying at the jump, it doesn't matter. She's going to still need those 2 to 3 months to be able to vet you and have her feelings grow in a natural way to where it will better solidify her feelings, where she can trust you. She can say, oh, after 3 months, this guy is who he says he is. I can trust him. We've had a lot of fun together. And you know what? I now am feeling those things. But at the same time, you can't take a woman not telling you after a month that she wants to be with you in a relationship as game playing. That is not a game to them. That is her still taking her time. And I think a lot of guys, because we rush things so fast, we think women are playing games when really they're not. They're just doing their due diligence. And yeah, she may be dating you and 2 or 3 other guys. She's vetting all you at the same time. That is in her right to do. All right. But that's not her playing games. That is her doing the things she needs to do to make sure the guy that she ends up with is the one that makes her feel safe, secure, she can trust, have fun with, have good times in the bed with, and ultimately sees herself in a long-term relationship with. Now, as an introvert, you should be happy about that. You should be happy that a girl wants to take her time and not be smothering you every single day and wants to actually find out about you before she gets into a relationship, because you don't want to waste your time either as an introvert. You want to make sure that whoever you're with is ultimately worth your time. And that's why you need to be doing your vetting during this time as well and not worrying about where she's at. The only thing you need to do is again, if she's doing all the right things in terms of showing up for dates and stuff in the bedroom, et cetera, then you're good. All right. Take that as a sign that she likes you, and of her own accord, she will come to you. I know for those guys that have not experienced that before, it can be hard to believe that a woman you've been seeing for 2.5 months that hasn't yet said, I want to be with you, is going to somehow come to you in 2 weeks' time and say, okay, what are we? I can assure you, it's happened more than enough times to me. I can guarantee you, write it on a card and sign it, that is what's going to happen if you are patient, okay? Because just like you don't want to waste your time, women don't want to waste their time with guys that they're not trying to get with. And then once they see that you have the value that they're looking for, they don't want to let you go. So they have no choice but to let you know that they want to be the ones that are in your life, all right? So hopefully this helps you guys out. And hopefully if you look at your own dating pattern and start to really analyze, where do things start to go left field? Like, where do things go from we're dating, we're having a good time, things are going great, to, uh-oh, she's no longer there? Is it stuff you're doing? Is it questions you're asking? Is it topics of conversation you're bringing up too early? Is it actions you're doing on dates that might be indicative of a guy that she suddenly shouldn't be so much around or interested in? Like, really analyze what you're doing, or tell somebody else, put your own list together and have somebody else look at it and say, hey, this is the dating pattern I noticed about myself. Can you please let me know where I'm going wrong? But really study that stuff, because more often than not, you have women that will actually get with you if you would just tweak a few parts of your dating pattern. And that's also why I have a whole program at my website called the Introvert Dating Success Academy, because I used to make these same mistakes and I had nobody to walk me through what am I doing wrong? What am I saying on these dates that's wrong? What am I doing in the dating process that makes these women go from they want to be with me 1 minute to they're suddenly chasing Chad down the street the next minute? Like, I need to know. And so it's a 12-week program. We do once a week phone calls. You get 12 awesome video modules that are designed to walk you through the dating process in a way that's going to show you how to effortlessly make women feel attraction to you, create safety and trust in them, and be that fun guy that women want to date. If that's something that interests you, go to the website, click on the programs tab, check out the huge long sales page that's up for the Introvert Dating Success Academy. And if you think you'd be a good fit, apply for it today. All right. Also, guys, this show is all about you. If you have a question you want me to answer on one of these shows, write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com or leave a comment down below under one of my videos. If you want to show your support, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/HarryWilmington. You can leave a Cash App at $HarryWilmington, and you can leave a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify because this helps have this show be found in the algorithms. All right. So thank you for watching, and I'll be back with another show very soon. I'm Harry Wilmington, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.